What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family? I'm back. Monday night edition. The Family Meal Kitchen with Chef Joe Longo. So happy you could join me again. Looking forward to it. I hope everybody's well, staying safe, and I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I got a great pasta dish for everybody tonight. I call it the Rigatoni Toscana. It's a rigatoni pasta with chicken, a little pancetta or bacon, some garlic, a little bell pepper and onion. I got some mushrooms, spinach, tomato, a little crushed tomato, and a couple little things, a touch of cream and some chicken broth. Beautiful pasta dish, really nice. Everyone's gonna do this one. I hope everyone enjoyed the ribs last week. I had a lot of good feedback, and I'm hoping that you're trying these recipes. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any additional information, and I'll be glad to help you with whatever. All right, let's get into it. Now this dish is gonna have a nice zesty breadcrumb that gets sprinkled over the top. So I'm gonna start with that. I have some panko breadcrumbs. I just happen to have some seasoned ones, which are fine. If you don't have seasoned, that's great too. You'll just season them up. Maybe a little salt, pepper, some garlic powder. I like to add some Reggiano Parmigiana to the breadcrumb, and a little bit of salt and pepper. It's already seasoned though, and then I add a touch of olive oil just to kind of wet the breadcrumb. And I'm going to give that a nice mix like this. Get that all incorporated with that olive oil just to kind of wet it, because I'm going to throw this in the oven for a couple minutes and get it toasted. All right, so I got my breadcrumb. I'm going to take this little sizzle plate here, or a little sheet tray would work fine. I'm going to put a nice thin layer of the breadcrumb on there. And I'm not looking to cook them too hard, just a few minutes just to kind of toast them to get the rawness out of them. So I'm going to pop those in the oven for a sec while we do something else. Pop those in. Okay. Now we're going to take care of our chicken. The first part of the dish is the chicken. And before I get into the mise en place, let's just go with the chicken real fast and just see how we do that one. Okay, I got a beautiful organic chicken breast. I just trimmed all the fat off it. So I got this nice chicken breast here. I had a hack a couple weeks ago about how I pound out the chicken. I use one of these freezer bags and I open it up. It has a nice thick gauge to it where it's not going to break from the mallet. It's clean, things aren't going to splatter all over the kitchen. So what I want to do is, I'm not looking to pound this out like a scallopini. I want to just even it out. You see how it's thinner here and it's fatter on the top? I just want to get that nice and even. Let me move my other cutting board. And so I'm just going to kind of gently, I like to put one arm on the board to stabilize everything. And I'm basically just going to pound it out so it's nice and one thickness, so it cooks nice and evenly and fast. But I don't want to crush it. I'm looking for some thickness on it so it has a nice juiciness to it. And that looks pretty good. It's nice and even. That's really all I'm going to do with the mallet right now. I'm going to get a hot saute pan because we're going to sear this chicken. You know I like to take extra steps to ensure flavor, right? Well, you could just probably take it raw and slice it and saute it into the pasta, but we're going to do something a little bit more to it. All right, so let's season our chicken real quick. And my pan's getting hot. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of olive oil. I got my beautiful Greek Mafia seasoning from Chef Phil out of Chicago, top pitmaster. Really great, well-balanced, kind of all-purpose seasoning. You can use an Italian spice. You can just use salt and pepper, would be fine. I'm going to give it a nice amount of the seasoning, both sides. All right, just like so. Beautiful seasoning on there. And then I'm going to put it in the hot pan. Now this is what I call the presentation side, the sides that's kind of shiny, not the bottom end. So I'm going to start with the presentation side. My pan's nice and hot. You can see the olive oil in there. Yeah, let's make sure this is nice and hot. And I tilt the oil away from me so I don't get splashed. So I lay the chicken in there nice and safe. And I'm going to let that go. I want to cook the chicken until it's, maybe 3/4 of the way done. It doesn't need to be cooked the whole way. Usually do it around 7-8 minutes, up to 10 minutes, and it should be cooked through. I actually have my oven on. I'll probably pop it in there for 5 minutes just to ensure that it's completely cooked. All right, so our chicken is searing nicely. Let's put that over here for a sec. Let that sear. And I'll talk about the mise en place that goes in. This is a dish that was very popular at the restaurant, at the club. Sell tons of these in my pasta category on the menu. Very, very popular dish, really tasty, really easy. What I did earlier was I rendered some bacon. I didn't have any pancetta. I usually use Italian style bacon for this dish, but regular applewood smoked bacon is fine. I diced it and just kind of cooked it until it was semi-crispy, and I reserved about half of the bacon grease in there. I'm going to saute with that a little bit. Our chicken's doing nicely. I got 2 cloves of sliced garlic. I have a little bit of bell pepper and onion chopped. I have some little cremini mushrooms. Any kind of button mushroom would be fine. Shiitakes, whatever you got. I have some spinach leaves. I have some of those heirloom cherry tomatoes. A little bit of peeled plum tomato. I call that the pomodoro. A touch of chicken broth. Some heavy cream. A little butter. I reserved some of the pasta water, right? I always tell people just to reserve some of the pasta water. If you need some moisture to the sauce, beautiful thing to have. And that's about it. And I cooked my pasta earlier in the day, tossed it with olive oil. So it's ready to go. Everything's ready, everything's in place. Our mise en place is ready. The chicken needs about another minute. And this is going to give it a nice flavoring on it, a nice seasoning, where it's all going to come together when we make our pasta. All right, beautiful. Again, when I flip the chicken, I tilt that oil away from me so I don't splatter myself. And then I just flip it over. And you have a nice, beautiful seared chicken. I'll take out some of that oil and I'll pop it right into my oven. I have an oven-proof pan, so I'm going to pop that right in. And my breadcrumb is also ready now. I'm going to pull my breadcrumb out and I'm going to let that rest over here. That's going to be our topping. Okay, let's get into the pasta part. We'll take a larger saute pan to do this. And you're learning some great saute dishes right now. Really nice saute dishes that take place in one pan. So that's really a big focus of mine. Not to get too tricky, to make everything super approachable and really show you how easy everything is. Okay, our pan's nice and hot. We're going to hit it with a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to start out with that sliced garlic, 2 to 3 cloves. You can hear it sizzling, activating. Now you're making a nice garlic oil here, so it's important to let everything kind of sizzle nice and easy and get as much flavor out of every step as you can. So the garlic, it's already hitting the aroma of the garlic. It's beautiful. Now we're going to add in a little bit of that bacon with a little bit of the grease. Like so. And if you don't like the bacon part, it's still going to be great without the pork. You don't need to put the pork. You don't even need to put the chicken. It's a great vegetarian pasta. Just substitute veg stock and don't use cream. Okay, so we got this beautiful base of the bacon and the garlic going right now. We're going to add some of that onion and bell pepper to it. And that alone is just going to give you maximum flavor right there. I'm sure Danny can smell
yes, I can.
the flavor hitting right now.
So good.
Okay. Now I'm going to throw in some of my mushrooms. I'm not going to overcrowd the pan. Mushrooms are all water basically, so they're going to create a lot of moisture, and we don't want to just kind of steam them. We want to let them fry into that oil a little bit. So we're going to let that in. Now, even though we use bacon, which has a lot of salt, we're still going to season a little bit every step of the way, because the mushroom needs a little bit. Okay, a little salt and pepper. I mix it ahead of time. A little mix there. Okay, we let that go. Now we can kind of turn up our flame a little, because now we're ready to rock and roll. Okay. Beautiful mixture of the mushroom, the bell pepper, the onion, the garlic, and the bacon. I mean, you can't go wrong there. There's a beautiful filling for an omelet right there as well. Okay, so we got that nice little mixture going. We're going to add some of the heirloom cherry tomato. Beautiful color in the pan. Let's just throw everything in there. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. And again, a little bit of salt and pepper on the tomato. Okay, beautiful. Let that go for a minute. Nice high heat now. I'm going to go back to my chicken now. Okay. I'm going to let my chicken rest here. And it's a little rawer than I would probably do, but it's still going to be great. It still has that nice seared crust on it, and we're going to cook it again in here. So let it rest for about 5 minutes. Just kind of, you because it won't slice as easy when you cut it right from the hot oven. Just let it rest for a few minutes, and we'll go back to this sauce. So this is just sauteing beautifully here. Really nice. Awesome. I like to put a little crushed red pepper in. Not a lot. Just a little, give it a little heat. Tiny bit of heat on there. A little crushed red. Fantastic. Now I'm going to add my crushed plum tomato. We're going to make a blush sauce, a pink sauce. And I just like to kind of spread that around the pan. That was about 3 plum tomatoes I just crushed by hand with the juice. So there I am so far. And that's looking wonderful right there. Beautiful Italian pasta dish right there. Okay. Let's go to our chicken now. Take a nice sharp knife. I'm just going to slice it nice and thin. And you can see it's almost cooked. And the heat of the pasta is just going to cook it through. I like to slice it nice and thin like this because it really has a good mouthfeel in the dish. Rather than like a dice, I like a nice thin slice, just like that. And that'll be enough for 2-3 people. Usually give around 3 to 4 ounces of protein in a pasta. You don't need to have this huge amount of protein in there. Okay, that looks good. Fantastic. Now we're going to throw that chicken right in there. Throw those chicken pieces in there. And let that, the heat of the sauce cook the chicken through. Okay. So far, so good. Let's give it a little toss.
So good.
Let's give it a little restaurant toss. This is sometimes where this little one burner doesn't really do the trick, but we're okay. We're good. Let that go. And we're going to let that all cook down and let all that stuff kind of homogenize and all the flavors kind of marry together. I think we're good. All right. Let's do something else while we're waiting for that to cook through. Definitely clean up a little bit. Everyone knows in my house, cleaning is cooking and cooking is cleaning. They both go hand in hand. You can't do it any which way you want. You got to keep the kitchen clean. All right, I got the spinach leaves, and I'm just going to tear some. Just going to tear the spinach leaves in there. Just for some texture, some color, health reasons, right? Spinach is good for you. All those good things. I love a little spinach in the pasta. It looks phenomenal. And that should be good. You don't need a ton of that. If you like more spinach, then put more spinach. But to me, that's good. Okay, it's looking great. Bravo. You let that cook nicely there. Oh yeah. It's coming together now. Beautiful. Okay.
Christina said it looks yummy.
Yeah, this one's good. This one I love. Everyone's looking forward to eating this one. All right, so let that go for a minute, guys. We're going to add a little bit of our chicken broth. I call it once around the horn, from the handle to the handle. I'm going to add just a little hint of the cream, heavy cream, just to make it a nice kind of velvety finish to the sauce. Tastes really good. And I'm going to add a little tab of butter, like so. Okay. The butter's just going to help thicken it, give it that beautiful feel, that mouth feel. All right, so here we are. We've got this beautiful sauce going. You can see it's almost like an alla vodka type sauce. I call that a blush sauce or a pink sauce. And we got this beautiful pink sauce here right now. And the chicken's just about cooked through. We're going to let that sauce reduce for a minute or two until it starts all bubbling. That'll be our indication to add our pasta. When the sauce gets nice and bubbled, the chicken will be cooked completely through, super tender, perfectly cooked, not overcooked at all. Okay, so there you are with that. I'll have my rigatoni pasta here, which is going to go in next. Usually about 4 ounces per guest. I usually hit with pasta. That's about 1. And I'm going to make it for 3 people tonight. So we'll put a little bit in there. It's probably enough for 2 or 3 right there. Okay, so I got my pre-cooked rigatoni, which is always nice to have it cooked. You don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to give that a nice little toss. Okay, like so. Toss everything together. And you got this beautiful pasta right here. Let this cook for another minute. You can see where this is going here now, right? It's looking real good. It'll be better on your stove when you got a nice hot flame. We'll let that go 1 more minute. In the meantime, I'm going to get my nice serving bowl. Nice pasta bowl for everybody right here. Looking good. I'm gonna get my spoon ready. And let that go for another minute. Here, Danny, come on tight on the saucer. You can see everything's really looking good right now. That sauce just has to kind of get hot, start bubbling, but you can see the color of the sauce. Looks real nice, flavorful. It's got the juice from the tomato and the mushroom, the spinach, all that stuff. And let that go another minute or so till everything's nicely cooked. It's looking good. Get that mushroom back in there. All right, looking good so far, folks?
Yes.
Good. I'm enjoying doing this. Thank you. All right, I think we're ready to plate up. Let's see. Yeah, not too bad. Maybe another minute or two. Okay, we got a lot in this pan here for a demo. That's why it's taking a little bit of time, but it's looking real good. And I think for all practical purposes, we're ready to plate up. Okay, I like to use a spoon and just kind of get all the groceries in there and get a nice even distribution of all the stuff, the mushroom, the chicken. And you can see I just put a touch of cream. I'm not looking for this heavy cream sauce. I'm just looking for a nice little nuance of cream to it. Like this. All right, looking good.
That is one
Wipe
huge
the
plate.
bowl down. Now, I like to tear a little basil, a couple basil leaves at the end. Just some nice fresh torn basil. Really gives it a nice aromatic finish to it. And then some of those toasted breadcrumbs with that Parmesan and garlic and olive oil and all that seasoning in there. And I just like to give it a nice coating of the breadcrumb like that. And basically that's the dish, guys. The chicken Toscana over rigatoni pasta with the toasted breadcrumb finish. Very, very simple, easy, 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, and they're gonna be blown away. I thank everybody for the support. I thank everybody for following. I hope I can do this as long as possible. I'm going to keep going until I can't do it anymore, or you don't want me anymore. So I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wish you well. God bless. Ciao.